if you're working every day because you've got a bigger vision, at the end of the day you may think after working all day, oh, I don't know if I've progressed to my goal. This way you know you're progressing. If you're doing this, you know you're progressing, you'll know you're winning, and that's the best thing about it. Yo, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Now, this is something a little bit different. Now, I've got a lot of videos in the work right now. I've got a vlog, which I'm just in the process of editing. I've got a back day video coming up very soon, and just a few other things in the work. But I thought, in the meantime, I'd make a quick little video, more like educational, if you will, just because this is one of the best purchases I've made in like the last 3 or 4 years. This is just, it is a whiteboard, right? You know, I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it. It's a big whiteboard. Do you need a whiteboard this big? No. This whiteboard's like 6 feet tall. It's like practically touching my ceiling, but it's really effective. And I actually told my friend who's like trying to get into like running a business and stuff just to buy a whiteboard. And I told him how to lay out his whiteboard and all this stuff, and he was like, this is really helpful. And I thought, why not I just tell everyone this? So what I do is I segment my whiteboard into like 3 different sections. Now there's currently 4 sections because I've got like my YouTube videos which I'm uploading in the following week. But aside from that, 3 sections. I've got my days locked in, which is kind of like how many days I've completed all my to-do list and I'm progressing towards my main goals. Now I like to set 3 main goals, and I like to set these main goals over like the course of a couple months, or like 3-4 months, around that like time span. So it gives you enough time to progress to them, and you can know that it's going towards like the bigger picture basically. So at the end of every day, I'll come on here and I'll have like a little dash to say if I've like done what I'm meant to do each day. And if I've not done that, then I'm not going to add the dash. I'm not going to give myself that. But that's that section. I just quite like it. It is like a waste of 1/3 of the whiteboard, but I do think it's beneficial to at least make notice of when you are like progressing towards your goals. Because I feel like if you're just doing this every day and then there's no recognition, you're kind of a bit like, why the fuck am I doing this? But if you see the dashes, then it's a game changer. I personally like that. You don't need to do it, but I'd recommend it. No, the next section is like the work block jobs, which is like, I'm going to make a different video on that, but that's relating to my Google Calendar and how I lay that system out. But this is essentially, you want to have a big goal set for, say, 3-4 months, and you basically want to imagine your big picture, right? So, say you're launching a new brand, right? And eventually you want to take this brand into a big company, you know, and all these other things, right? But you need to think, in 4 months, where do I want to take the business, right? What stage of the business am I at? What is a big goal I can have at the end of 4 months, which is achievable in the sense of if I work my ass off, I can achieve that goal. For me, that's launching the new brand, which basically entails me creating the huge marketing campaign, recording the marketing campaign, editing it, testing a bunch of samples. I've actually got my samples next to me. So we've got some like cashmere jumpers with this like design on, and a few shirts and stuff like that. So setting your main goal. So for me, it was launch Zytro. The deadline, I want to do that in September. So that's when I want to basically like publish the brand, make it like known to the public. So like, and I've got like just mini tasks under here. So like, I need to order some buttons for the shirt. I need to create like just all these different like subtasks, like plan the next drop. So like when I sell this drop out, what's the next step? You know, plan the upload schedule. How many times am I going to be uploading in a week for the branding and the marketing and all this stuff? Right. Next is the one-on-one coaching. So this is like the current thing which I'm working on. So like creating the client dashboard. So like going on there and filling in all the details and like basically creating this big system where my clients can go through and each day they can tick off like what they've achieved in relation to their goals. Almost like I'm creating this whiteboard for them, but like digitally basically. And then the next like section is like the to-do list, right? So on here, I like to only do like 5 tasks at once, because what ends up happening is if I write down like 6 tasks, no, that was a terrible example. If I write down like 10 tasks, what's going to end up happening is I'll do like 1. It'll take me ages, and then I'll think there's no way I'm finishing 9 of these, and then I'll sack off all of them. If I do 5, I can realistically achieve 5 tasks way before the day's ended. And it means I get to tick them off, and once I get through all these tasks, say I've got a decent portion of the day left, I can rub these out and I can write more tasks, which eventually lead to me achieving this goal by the end of September, or by the end of whatever month you've set out. So like, I try and make sure I've got a task for like each one of these, depending on the day. Like some days I won't be able to do, I don't know, say Zytra, I'm not able to work in the clothing business for whatever reason. Like I don't have my samples, and I've done all the other work, right? So I can't work in that for like a week. Then I'll just work on these two. But the point is, you want to make your tasks, your little to-do lists, really short jobs. Like these jobs shouldn't take longer than like an hour. They shouldn't take longer than an hour, because then it's like, you know, realistically, if they're taking longer than an hour, you're not going to get 5 on there. And like, you're going to get 30 minutes into your work, or you'll get an hour into your work. You're not going to complete the task. And then you're not even going to get the dopamine of getting to tick off that you've done it, because you've not even achieved anything, right? You've just been working for an hour, and you've not recognised that you've even made progress. And I think the whole recognition factor is really important. So that's why I do like these smaller tasks. So like for me, it's like sketching designs for like drop 2. Like that will take me like an hour, right? I'm not going to spend longer than an hour. I'll sketch the designs out and stuff like that. Because my previous task was, you know, create the idea of the design. So like, what do I want the designs to be? Like what's each product's goal, basically. So that's the previous task. And then you know, design that, and then, the next step would be like order the sample. No, actually it wouldn't. It would be like create the tech pack, add the size chart, like all these different things. But you can progress it in smaller segments to, once again, achieve this goal. So that's the big thing you want to do. Or like here, write the to-do list for the coaching, right? So that's for the client dashboard. I'm writing a big to-do list of all the things I need to do for the coaching, right? And then I can go through there and make this into tasks. So that to-do list I can then take on here and I can add it to the to-do list. So like say one of the tasks is like add the meal plans, right? I can add meal plans onto here, or like create meal plans, create 5 meal plans, be more specific, you know? So that's that goal. And genuinely, it's a game changer. If you just have a small whiteboard, so you put it on your wall, I personally don't like it if it's something on the ground, because then it's like you're never going to see it, right? The benefit of it being this big is I can't miss it. Like, I currently don't have a bed. I'm going to actually pan this over. I don't actually have a bed currently. I've just got a fucking mattress on the ground. But my point being is, I can't miss this whiteboard because it's so goddamn big. So, if I don't do my work, and before I go to bed I've written down every task I need to do, then that's just sheer laziness and a lack of willingness to try and reach these goals, right? But if I'm just confused when I wake up, I'm like, I don't know what to do, you end up just teetering around for ages. And the system I have now is, before I go to bed, because that's when my mind is like the clearest for what I need to do the next day, because then you also know what you've achieved, right? Because if you do it in the morning, you know, you're kind of a bit foggy, like, I've just woken up, you know, oh God, what am I doing? Your brain's fucking gone, and then you don't do anything, and then you waste about 2 hours figuring out what you need to do. But if you write them down the day before, at night time, you get to rub off the tasks which you've done, you get to add the tick to say you've done it, and then you get to add your new to-do list, right? That works. That's a system which you can follow each day without failure. Now, if you don't have 3 main goals, right? Say you just have one goal, like say it's a small goal. Say you want to make a YouTube channel, right? Your goal 4 months in, let's say you want to hit 1,000 subscribers, right? Your main goal, hit 1,000 subscribers. Your smaller tasks would be, in 4 months, I want to upload 40 videos. That's really small, actually. That's not. I want to upload 80 YouTube videos, right? And I want to upload 120 shorts. Right? Your to-do list then would be, you'd have 5 tasks, you'd have plan YouTube video, create thumbnail, create script, plan a week's worth of content. You can have all these things, right, which you can do in a short time frame, and you can tick them off once you've done them, and you can replace them in line with what your goal is. Now, this isn't even just applicable to business, you can do it for fitness, right? I want to lose 20 pounds. I'm coming off the top of my head here. I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to lose, let's say, 10 kilograms, which I know the conversion's not correct on that, but still, I want to lose 10 kg. Okay, what's my goal? I want to track my macros. I want to go to the gym. I want to do my cardio. And then your day is locked in, still functions the same. How many days have I gone without, cheating on my diet? Say you cheated on your diet, guess what? You're not ticking this off because you didn't do what you were meant to do, right? And say your to-do list it could be something where it's like at the end of the day, if your goal isn't specific to business, right, and it's specific to fitness related, and it's like you want to lose weight, one of your to-do list things could be like, don't binge eat, or like, don't get a takeaway today, right? Say you love takeaways and you always fucking order takeaways. Don't order a takeaway. Boom. End of the day, I didn't order a takeaway, I get to take that off. Because you're not going to have more than 5 tasks if the only goal you have is fitness. But there's still a good way of doing it, right? It's free source. Like, you genuinely can't fail. If you have a goal, any goal, if you do this system, you've got the 3 sections on a whiteboard, you physically cannot fail at achieving the task. Because you've got your midterm goal, which is like 4 months, and it's based off the bigger, like, mission, right? In fitness, eventually I want to get in the best shape of my life. I want to have a 6-pack, big muscles. I want to bench 140 kg. I want to look like a G, right? Smaller goals, 4 months. I want to lose this amount of weight. I want to maybe bench this much. You can make it more reasonable, right? For me, my goals are reasonable based on currently what I'm doing, like launching the one-on-one coaching, launching Zytro. I've already done Zytro Athletics. I've got all the other businesses and stuff. But these are the current goals I have, and this is currently my to-do list for today. This is my days locked in. So, I have these systems in place. Like, record educational video for YouTube. That's what I'm doing right now. This is a video which I've recorded for the last 12 minutes, literally precisely, and boom, that one I'm going to get to tick off. I get to rub that one out now. That's progression. End of the day, I'm going to get to tick this off. I feel good. I get to rub these off, and I get to replace them. And then at the end of September, once I've achieved all these, I get to rub these off. I get to think, what position am I in now? All right, my brand's launched, my coaching's in progress, and I've monetized my YouTube channel, right? What's the next step? Okay, my next step, all right, I want to start not marketing. I want to sell out my first drop for Zytro, right? Sell out drop 1. What am I going to need to do to sell out drop 1? All right, I'm going to need to reach this many Instagram followers. I'm going to need to use this much ads. I'm going to need to create this many campaigns. You'll know realistically what you need to do. And if you don't know what you need to do, that's the next step. You need to figure out what you need to do to reach your bigger goals. And then you need to put them on here. Now, I hope this was helpful. And I also hope you can see the whiteboard. Because, this isn't exactly like a studio. This is my bedroom. And, like, the lighting is just, it's a skylight. It's just, it's that. So this isn't exactly studio lighting. I've got my bedroom light on, but it's midday. But you get the point. I hope this helped. I wish I had this a couple years ago. If I had this a couple years ago, I'd be so much further in my life. It'd be incredible. This system works. You actually cannot fail if you follow this. I promise you. If you follow this, you know what you're doing, and you're writing your to-do list, you're checking it off, and you're counting how many days you've been doing it for. In the long run, you will win. You'll know that you're winning, and you'll at least know that you're progressing. Because not knowing if you're progressing or not is the worst thing about it. If you're working every day because you've got a bigger vision, at the end of the day, you may think after working all day, I don't know if I've progressed to my goal. This way, you know you're progressing. If you're doing this, you know you're progressing, you'll know you're winning, and that's the best thing about it. But anyway, that's about it. My camera's going to die. But yeah, peace out.